Is it there? Cool. Welcome to Light. And as you can see by the title and thumbnail, today we're reacting to Benny Boy. He needs a little bit of a taking down, and I'm absolutely willing to do that. So here is his supposed reasons that why he didn't vote for Trump in 2016, but he's going to fall down to the level of voting for him in 2020. Let's see if there's one good reason. But first, let me see if we've got some people in the chat. We don't have anyone in the chat yet. Oh, now we got someone in the chat. Okay. Cool. Hello. You ready to get going here, boys? I guess you guys aren't boys, but who gives a hell? Let's see what Ben has to fucking say.
I did not vote for Donald Trump in 2016. I am voting for Donald Trump in 2020. There are three reasons I'm going to vote for Donald Trump in 2020 when I didn't 4 years ago. First, I was simply wrong about Donald Trump on policy. Second, I wasn't really wrong about Donald Trump on character, but whatever damage he was going to do has already been done, and it's not going to help if I don't vote for him this time. And third, most importantly, the Democrats have lost their minds.
Okay. So right off the bat with stupidity, I didn't know it would be like literally 20 seconds in. This notion of the Democrats have lost their minds as of late, when we have the context of all of Trump and the Republicans in 2020, is literally made up. It's literally pulled out of his ass. He's still begging for like the long days of owning the libs or whatever the fuck this guy likes to do to keep him up, to let him go to sleep at night. It's made up entirely. So when we have somebody like Ben here, Mr. Grifter, Mr. I'm so rational and I'm the smart wave of the right wing, saying that the Democrats have lost their minds when we're protesting against police violence, or we're pro wearing a mask in a pandemic. I'm sorry, Ben, but I'm going to need a little bit fucking more logic and reasoning in this argument than that.
So, first of all, Donald Trump has governed pretty conservatively. I thought he would not be conservative in his governance. I was just wrong on that. Donald Trump radically cut regulation.
How the fuck did you think he wasn't going to be conservative? Literally, his opening statement was, the criminals, the rapists, they're bringing crime, they're bringing drugs. It's some, I assume, are good people. Like, that's the most far right-wing fucking rhetoric against immigration that I've ever fucking heard in my life. Ever.
You actually saw reductions in the number of man-hours dedicated to dealing with regulation for the first time in a long time under Donald Trump. He appointed originalist judges to the best of his ability. We're talking dozens of them, textualist, originalist judges who actually care about the role of the judiciary. He cut taxes, jogging the economy.
Hold on, what did you just say?
For the first time in a long time under Donald Trump, he appointed originalist judges to the best of his ability. We're talking dozens of them, textualist, originalist judges who actually care about the role of the judiciary.
So let me translate that for you out of Ben Shapiro land. He appointed 1,000 fucking far right-wing justices. That's what an originalist is, who's like cares about the Constitution. That just like when we're talking about Ben Shapiro here, he means as far right as you're allowed to go in polite society. As far right, if not farther than you're allowed to go in polite society. That's a great reason to vote for Trump. No more women's rights with their own body. Yeah, that's a good reason. I think people who burn a flag should be punished in jail for 1 year. People who are going to support that. Yeah, that's a real good reason to vote for Trump. Keep putting those justices in.
He cut taxes, jogging the economy, raising it to heights not seen in half a century, the lowest unemployment rate in half a century, people having their wages rise at the bottom of the spectrum. He appointed pro-life people to the executive branch and pursued pro-life policy via executive order. He dumped out of the idiotic Paris Accords, which were useless and counterproductive. He dumped the even more idiotic and evil Iran deal, which gave money to the Iranian mullahs to use for terror.
I literally can't believe that in 2020 that we still have absolute brain dead blockheaded idiots pretending like the Iran deal was bad. If you supported Ben Shapiro, if you supported what he did with North Korea, where he basically he proposed doing a deal that's almost identical to the Iran deal, then you literally can't be against the Iran deal unless you're admitting that you're an absolutely ideologyless, brainless person who just follows whatever the right wing does and says it's good. Which, I don't know if you're fooling too many people on that's not you anymore.
Terrorism, as John Kerry freely admitted. Donald Trump crushed ISIS. He killed al-Baghdadi. He killed Qasem Soleimani. Donald Trump is the first president of my lifetime not to start any new wars, which is a kind of big thing.
We are bombing 8 countries as we speak. Donald Trump drew down 0 of those countries. He vetoed a bill to stop our supporting Saudi Arabia's genocide in Yemen. But he's the first president in my lifetime who didn't start new wars. Motherfucker. He's going to war with Iran in a month if he's reelected. He just waged a full-scale economic war on them. Put the most crippling sanctions in decades on a country, on Iran. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and it's really obvious.
He moved the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. He brokered the first meaningful peace deals there in 3 decades in the Middle East. He cracked down on China in unprecedented ways. He's resisted using the federal government to control everybody's life during COVID. That's a big thing.
I didn't know Ben Shapiro was like an anti-masker. Like, what? You're against COVID protections? Yet you call yourself reasonable. In what fucking universe is being against pandemic protection reasonable? What? I didn't know that you were this much of a liar. Holy shit!
This is the biggest government power grab of my lifetime, and Trump refused to do it. Donald Trump restored due process on college campuses because he actually cares about due process, or at least his Secretary of Education does. Contrary to popular opinion, Donald Trump has not actually threatened the institutions. The fact is that Donald Trump may have been hemmed in by his own people. Whatever the rationale, he has not threatened the press. He has not threatened the legislature. He has not used the executive branch in nearly as powerful ways as Barack Obama did.
Did he just say what I think he just said about the press? Donald fake news Trump hasn't threatened the press. He threatened to sue press outlets over a joke! He threatened to revoke the freedom of press because it was giving him bad coverage. Unfair coverage, I don't like it. Get rid of it. He hasn't threatened the press? You're a liar! You just lie! Wow, this is easy for you, isn't it? It's really easy when you get to just lie and disregard whatever reality is.
Trump hasn't been as conservative as I would like on everything. He's spent way too much money, like oodles too much money. I actually care about that stuff. His perspective on trade is a zero-sum game. I think it's wrong-headed. He still signed into law the USMCA, which is a pretty good trade deal. But these are problems I've had with a variety of Republicans, including George.
USMCA. Very good trade deal. Let's see what it is. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. So the USMCA was when he got rid of NAFTA and reinstituted NAFTA into his own deal called the USMCA and continued over his 4 years of being president to outsource 300,000 jobs, American jobs, to other countries like China, like Russia, like Iran, like Saudi Arabia. You mean that deal? You mean that deal? How was that? Explain to me exactly how the fuck that deal is good for the American people. Can you fucking explain that to me? Or are you too blockheaded to fucking get the words out, quick boy?
George W. Bush, Trump has governed overall in a far more conservative fashion than W on policy.
That's not a good thing!
He is the most conservative president of my lifetime on policy. Of course, Ronald Reagan left office when I was 4 years old. Second, times change. When I said I wouldn't vote for Trump in 2016, I was worried about 3 things. 1, policy. Again, I was wrong. Second, I was worried about the soul sucking of the Republican Party to approve bad behavior, with people nodding.
Okay. To be fair, the Republican Party didn't need Trump to suck the soul and life out of them. They're all evil. They all support him. That's all you need to know. There's no good conservative because they all suck his fucking dick. They're all evil. They're all soulless. You didn't need Trump to drain the soul out of them. They didn't have one to fucking begin with, Ben.
And grinning at bad stuff Trump did. A lot of that has happened. And third, I was worried about toxicity down ballot, right? Losing House seats, losing Senate seats, blowing out the Republican Party with minorities and women and young people. A lot of that has manifested. But here's the thing. It's already manifested. And me not voting for Trump in 2020 doesn't stop that from manifesting. Like, I've been very, very clear on my feelings about Donald Trump's character.
What the fuck is he going on about here right now? Like, is he like anti-minorities being in the Republican Party? I thought that's like part of you guys' biggest grift is like, oh look, blacks for Trump, Mexicans for Trump, social democrats for Trump. I thought that was part of your whole like grift. Like you guys pretend like you're not just a bunch of 50-year-old like white guys who hate everyone around them and all their neighbors. I thought that was part of your whole illusion.
I have serious reservations, to say the least. Trump has some good qualities, right? He's a hammer in search of a nail. Sometimes he hits a nail, it's super satisfying. And sometimes he hits a baby, and it is far less satisfying. Trump hitting the media, it's often justified. I mean, the media have...
You say this when actual babies have died at the border. Sometimes he hits a nail, and it's super satisfying. Sometimes he hits a baby, and it's less satisfying. He's literally done that, though! This isn't a metaphor! He's killed children with the support of ICE at the borders! Dipshit! You're evil! Evil!
exposed themselves as just a pure dumpster fire of leftist garbage. They've treated him as an enemy from the very first day. They've promulgated false narratives. They've lied about things that he has said. They have taken...
They've correctly reported things he said, and he got temper tantrum baby fever on Twitter about it, and then he said they lied. Now Ben is saying they lied, and that's literally all they're going off of. They're not going off of this of objectively verifying anything and looking at what he said and what the media said. He's literally just repeating that Trump basically says everything that's bad about him is fake news. That's as far as that just went. That's as far of a thought as he just indulged in.
The worst interpretation of everything he could possibly have said.
Wrong.
That doesn't mean that Trump hasn't been vindictive or petty or immoral. He does all those things. Trump being unable to focus and willing to jump.
Then on that alone, why are you voting for him, Ben?
On any rake is not just immoral, it is very often stupid and counterproductive. I mean, you know my opinion on this. Everybody knows, okay, deep down in the cockles of your heart, no matter how much you love Trump, everybody knows the Trump administration, with Trump on teleprompter more often and less on Twitter, would be in a position to win the 2020 election more easily. Everybody also knows that with Trump on teleprompter more often and less on Twitter, would be in a position to win the 2020 election more easily. Everybody also knows that Trump's tweets damage him with people who don't already love him. All of that is true, right? But all of it is not.
Okay. We are no longer in the territory of mean tweets. Mean tweets. I used to agree with a lot of my lefty bros that Trump's mean tweets aren't necessarily that bad of a thing about him. Like, it's not that bad that he's an edgy guy who doesn't really care about what people think. He's now using his platform on Twitter to incite violence against sitting U.S. governors, Whitmer, to incite violence on anyone else that opposes him. It's damn lucky that with all those months of him basically saying liberate Portland, Oregon, that the governor of Oregon didn't get kidnapped and killed as well. This goes beyond mean tweets. This isn't mean tweets anymore. Have you fucking been alive the past year, Ben?
Not changing. There's a group of people out there who every time Trump tweets something newly stupid, they
Yeah.
get newly enraged.
Yeah. As being pointed out in the chat here, Ben Shapiro is a complete, utter fucking sellout now, and he's having it both ways. Because he himself said on Twitter that if Trump, like, loses this like a buffoon, it's on Trump. It's not on us good Republicans. But yet he's here supporting Trump as hard and fast as he could possibly do it. Because he doesn't have an ideology. Because he's a hack. He's a hack. And that when you're a hack, you don't have to abide by the truth. You don't have to actually consistently hold principles that you hold dear and you really believe in and then fight for those principles. All you have to do is pick a team, and no matter what the fuck the team does, you support them to the grave. You never back down, and that's why he's sitting here simping for Trump so hard like a fucking brainless idiot.
I think most Americans, basically, this is all baked into the cake at this point. I think it's important, deeply important, for conservatives to criticize Trump when he requires it. When Trump does something bad, we should say it out loud. We shouldn't hide that. And that's why I've been calling balls and strikes on Trump as a president since the day he
You've never called balls and strikes on anything political in your entire fucking pathetic, lying, grifting career.
was elected. But 2020 is not 2016. Everything that is bad about Trump is already part of the system. It's already part of the new normal. For better.
No. Sadly, it is fucking not part of the norm. He's the absolute abnormality of the norm. He exists nowhere in the norm. Sorry, no!
Or for worse. And me avoiding voting for him in 2020 doesn't change that. Third, and most importantly, the Democrats have lost their f***ing minds. They've lost their minds.
Let's see why.
So have members of the mainstream media. So have members of our bureaucracy. So have members of academia. These people
You gonna say anything a little less fucking vague?
must not be allowed the mechanisms of power. Our most crucial institutions, from corporate America to the universities, they've been corrupted, top to bottom. And giving them power over your lives, more power over your lives, huge mistake.
Okay, so no, he's not going to say anything less vague. This is literally just Democratic Party and Democratic electorate fear-mongering. He literally just, like, okay, let me do it. If you give these Republican people more control over your lives, it's going to be real bad. Bad is what it's going to be real. It's real bad, and it is definitely not fucking good. If you give the corrupt Republicans control over everything you do, guess what it's going to be? Bad. So be scared. Be scared. Be scared, little snowflake. I mean, don't be a snowflake, because I like to call other people snowflakes and I like to pretend to own them. But just be scared of the Democrats, because they're really big and powerful and evil, but also they're little delicate snowflakes who have no power and they're pathetic. I'm confused. I don't know how to grift anymore. I'm just Ben fucking retarded Shapiro.
Democrats are no longer the
God.
party of Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama. They're the party of Bernie Sanders, and they're just wearing around the mask of Joe Biden. They're the party of Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. Joe Biden is a Potemkin village of a candidate.
I hope they will be the party of Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. Fucking based-ass, woke-ass bitches like that. Hopefully in the next few decades that will be the party.
He is not a bulwark against.
It's not right now,
He's
though.
a facade for it. Everybody knows it. That's why Bernie is touting him as the most progressive presidential candidate since FDR.
Bernie is doing that because, God bless his fucking heart, he's trying to get people who love actual change to vote for a status quo politician because of how absolutely insane and evil the opposition to Biden is. That's what Bernie's doing. Bernie doesn't believe in his heart of hearts that Biden is FDR. He doesn't. Okay? But what he does believe in his heart of hearts is that Biden is like a 1,000,000% better than an orange evil fucking Disney villain controlling the entire free world. Okay? And I would have to fucking agree with Bernie on that, Ben!
There's a reason that Noam Chomsky is on board with Joe Biden. Right? I mean, if you just watch this stuff, it should scare the hell out of you. Today's Democratic Party is not even the Democratic Party of Barack Obama circa 2008. Barack Obama circa 2008 supported traditional marriage. Barack Obama circa 2008 was not...
The polls weren't there yet, I might just add. Of course, he did. 90% of people did back then.
Openly in favor of packing the courts or getting rid of the filibuster. Barack Obama in 2008 used to speak about personal responsibility sometimes. Like, all of this is just gone. The Democratic Party is now the party of radicalism. The simple mandate for the Democrats is this. They now believe in cramming down their perspective on everyone they can.
Is that why cramming down... The Democrats believe in that. They believe in cramming down their perspective on everyone who doesn't believe with them. Okay, so is that why the Democratic president of 2020, who's been in here for 4 years, right, Mr. Democrat, that's the one, right? Okay, so he's the guy who, threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act. He threatened to invoke many other things to illegally, I might add, illegally send U.S. soldiers who pledged their lives, by the way. They literally pledge their fucking lives in support of saving this country. He was going to threaten to send those people to fight on our soil against our own citizens. Now, who exactly here again is the one that's cramming their ideology down everyone else's throat? Okay, what about before Trump? Before Trump, what about all the anti-gay marriage people? I would say that's kind of big ass fucking government, wouldn't you, Ben? Wouldn't you say it's big fucking government to cram your fucking weird ideology into somebody else's bedroom? Wouldn't you say it's big fucking government to decide for the entire free populace what drugs they are and aren't allowed to take because you have certain pharmaceutical stocks in certain drugs and you don't in others? I would say that's huge government. And that is anti everything libertarian and freedom that you purport to be. So you might want to keep that the fuck out of your dumb mouth.
Via any force that they can control. They believe that you should be forced by law to violate your religious beliefs if it conflicts with their social views. They believe that the science says we have to destroy the free market in the name of the environment. They say that unborn babies.
That is such loaded fucking trash. Science says that we have to destroy the economy and shit in the name of... Dude, I can't believe anybody takes you seriously. I really can't. Like, they have to be so willfully ignorant of reality to take somebody this blatantly partisan and this blatantly absolutely ideologyless. He doesn't have one. He is vacant of any ideology. For them to take you seriously is honestly almost sadder than you yourself are.
Aren't babies, that men can be women. And if you disagree with any of that, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe, and you're a terrible person. They believe that your right to keep and bear arms should be...
You are a bigot, homophobe, and terrible person, but not because of any of that imagined straw man arguments that you pretend the left holds. It's actually because you're anti-gay marriage. It's actually because you're fucking terrified of immigration. It's actually because of a lot of other things that you yourself do that has nothing to do with what anybody's saying about you, but that you say yourself.
Heavily infringed, if not outright abolished. They believe that due process comes second to intersectional identity, that we shouldn't judge you as an individual.
No. Hell fucking no. Nobody believes that due process should come second to intersectionality. Nobody believes that. You're insane. You're making it up. Quit making things up. Facts don't care about your feelings, guy. Can you please stop making up
judge you based
shit?
On your racial group. They believe that America is systemically racist, rooted in sin and evil, founded in 1619, not in 1776. They believe that every single disparity in
Science
America
bad.
is chalked up to racism and bigotry and America sucking. They believe
science doesn't like when I say that the climate isn't changing, so science bad.
even racial, sexual orientation quotas, overt discrimination. They believe in a hierarchy of victimhood. If you're low on that hierarchy of victimhood, you should shut up. If you're high on the hierarchy of victimhood, you can say whatever the hell you want. You will never be held accountable.
Liberals might have an obsession. Hello, liberals. You guys might have an obsession with victim Olympics, okay? Like, certain people are, like, more victimized than others, and they're like, all on different totems, okay? But anybody who's actually got a fucking brain in their head literally spends 0 time a day wondering which victim is above who, and actually spends their time of the day fighting for all of them, because that is what we fucking believe in. We don't believe in random fucking different placements of, like, victims, like, oh, if you're black, you're more oppressed than someone who's white, but not as oppressed as someone who's fucking a Chinese immigrant, or vice versa. It doesn't, like, nobody thinks about this. That's on the left. Nobody. Fucking no one. Find me one person. Maybe some crazy fucking very little ideology themselves. Liberals think this. No! Leftist thinks this. You're talking about the left. You're insane. You're a liar. Big surprise. Everything you've said in this has been a fucking lie.
Accountable. They believe that economic freedom should be curbed in the name of income equality. They care far less about growth and prosperity than they do about some bizarre notion that equality is its own good. They're complicit in a culture where
You're making my job a little too easy here, Ben. You literally just came out against equality. How do you come out against equality?
And anybody who disagrees. They seek to ruin anybody who stands in their way, and they will activate the media, they'll activate social media.
I thought this was a meritocracy. I thought this was, you like to pretend that this is a meritocracy. Work hard, do good, you get far. Well, you can't do that if equality doesn't exist, dipshit! If everybody's starting at a million different fucking places, how is it equality when somebody tries to go above? It's not always the same. It is not the same. It's not that hard to say that it's not the same. And it's not that hard to say, let's fight for an equal world for everybody. But it's apparently way more easy for you to just get on here and lie and pretend that all of these things are the truth of the world, right?
To get all of that done. Meanwhile, they'll make room for Antifa and Black Lives Matter. They will cheer the rioting and the looting, or at least they'll go along with it and refuse to condemn it. But if you go to church during a pandemic, you are a danger to society. If you go to
Antifa and Black Lives Matter. So Black Lives Matter is literally just a racial justice organization with plenty of great progressive policies for all Americans, saying please, 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 hey, please don't kill. Okay? I have kid. Please don't kill. That's radical. Okay? Antifa is literally a fucking statement that you're anti-fascist. Anybody can be Antifa. In fact, I would hope that most people are anti-fascist. You certainly are. You're a fascist. You want oppressive, giant governmental takeovers of everything, even though that's what you project and argue that the leftists want, when actually what we want is fucking freedom. Actual freedom, not just corporate freedom. Freedom for everybody. So this is, honestly, it's really getting sad. Your little fucking grift here is sad, Ben. It's absolutely unconvincing. And the fact that anybody's still watching you honestly gives me very little hope for the future of humanity. Very little.
grandma's funeral, you're super dangerous. But if you are out there rioting and looting and burning things,
I'm not going to be able to make it. Peaceful protesting is rioting and looting and burning things. That happened for like 2 or 3 days when another fucking victim during a lockdown pandemic got killed from the police. But honesty doesn't matter. The truth doesn't matter. Right?
That's just a philosophy, guys. It's not a movement. It's not an organization, as Joe Biden said. They literally will not even condemn Antifa.
Antifa is not an organization.
Okay, Antifa is a terrorist organization. They will not condemn.
Oh, I didn't realize that Antifa was the one and not the Proud Boys and other people like them. I didn't realize that Antifa was the people who organized that terrorist plot on Governor Whitmer. This is breaking fucking news, Ben.
They will not condemn Black Lives Matter protests that escalate into rioting and looting. They think that there's no relationship whatsoever between an ideology that suggests that America is at root evil and that every institution in American life is infected with that evil.
You're literally just lying.
On foreign policy, the Democrats
they do not say that America is just evil.
The garbage Paris Accords. They want to make nice with China. They've threatened to destroy the Electoral College, pack the Supreme Court, abolish the filibuster, add states by simple majority to vote Democrat. They say they'll use impeachment as a purely political tool. In fact, they've even said they want a congressional committee to use the 25th Amendment to get rid of a sitting president. They seek to centralize all power in the executive branch, and they hope to overrun the powers of the states. They're aided in all of this by corporations, the mainstream media, and pretty much anybody else they can get their hands on. They've created a social structure dedicated to ostracizing anybody who dissents on leftist dogma. If you vote for Trump, you are evil. Your friends should stop talking to you.
Jesus fucking Christ! This diatribe of a triggered little bitch! How much more could you even be triggered than this? This man saying that anybody ever who is fighting for social justice is a triggered lib is literally the most sad little boy in a glass dollhouse throwing stones and shattering everything he's looking at because he is utterly a soft, tiny, insignificant, little delicate fucking the most delicate of all snowflakes. Hey, can we please get some racial equality? What the fuck, you crazy? Oh my god, you're like oppressing me. Can we please get a little bit higher minimum wage? I can't afford to feed my kids. What the hell? You just want everybody to have the same amount of everything. You're crazy. You don't believe in economic fucking shit. Snowflake. Are you triggered, Ben? Is that what it is? Jesus.
Stop talking to your own parents. Maybe you should be fired. Certainly, people should stop treating you like a human being. So, here's the deal. I'm voting for Trump. You don't have to love Trump's character. You don't have to like his Twitter account to vote for him.
In this country, black people are not treated as human beings. And you are saying, when they're asking to be treated as human beings, that they want you and everyone else to not be treated as a human being. Why so triggered, Ben? Why so fucking backwards? backwards, Ben.
You don't have to approve of the crazy or bad things that he says or the way he often acts. But if you care about the Constitution and economic freedom and the security of the United States, you really don't have a whole hell of a lot of choice. You should vote for Trump. You should certainly vote against Joe Biden and a Democratic Party that is running completely off the rails and now threatens the integrity of the Republic if they are given the levers of power.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was a dumpster fucking fire. And like I said in the beginning, was there one good reason to vote for Trump in that? Or was that literally like a Biden ad for every reason you should vote against Trump? Because that's what it came across as to me. Literally everything he said there was an amazing fucking reason to go out right the fuck now and vote in Biden-Harris. Because he just laid out for you how absolutely far right and insane Trump is, how absolutely unwilling to really to actually engage in anything other than far right extremist conspiracy theory politics. It's sad. Just like you are, Ben. You're so sad. Why so sad, Ben? Is it because you know deep down that you're a fucking liar? You're a professional liar? I guess I would be sad too if I woke up every fucking day and realized, man, I can't believe my job became lying to everybody for a living. Literal con man. Sad guy. Even sadder arguments. Facts don't care about your feelings, Ben. And neither does the light. Subscribe below. Leave a comment. Follow me on Twitter. The light is coming. I lived up to the title. This fucking shit, I had to like go secretly behind the scenes and like silence an ad every 5 fucking seconds on my background music because nothing is easy.
You get to see the little kitties.